Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast and of the Commander Format panel. Today, I'm wearing both hats, as I'm here to talk with you about an upcoming change to the Commander rules and a bit of the history behind it. This is a change that has been in the works for a long time, longer than even the Commander Format panel has been around. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What is this change, and why is it happening? Let's dig in. Today at MagicCon Las Vegas, we revealed a brand new type of artifact that's coming in Edge of Eternities, Spacecraft. These have the station mechanic and are artifacts that you can tap creatures to put charge counters on them equal to the tapped creature's power at sorcery speed. Then, as they accumulate more counters, they unlock functionality, and in most cases, become a creature. This is big. It's a brand new kind of card for Magic as we head into space. Now, making a Magic set takes a long time. We've been working on Edge of Eternities for years, and as we went along the set's design, we became interested in making legendary spacecrafts eligible as commanders. We were already making 2 commander decks with Spacecraft at their helm and planning to write that they could be your commander on the Spacecraft directly, and they had been really enjoyable to build with. There's a lot of fun to be had with Spacecrafts. Like a creature, they live on the battlefield, you can build a deck around enabling them, they can grow to attack and block like creatures, and they'll often point you in a deck building direction. So, last year, we reached out to the Commander Rules Committee about it. We presented our reasons for and why we liked it, and that there were a few different ways to tackle it. Ultimately, like all Commander Rules decisions at the time, this would, of course, have to be their call. After some longer discussions with the Rules Committee, where we covered the mechanic and how it was used, there were a couple conclusions we reached. The first is that the Rules Committee was on board with the idea. However, it was important to them that this only applied to ones that could turn into creatures, and that generally the way Spacecraft were designed rewarded turning it all the way into a creature. Of course, naturally there will be some cards where you don't want to station it up all the way immediately, but eventually you should want to unlock its creature mode. The second is that it actually made sense to both groups to apply this to not just Spacecraft, but also vehicles. Vehicles similarly can be fun to build around and tend to operate much like creatures. While there aren't that many legendary vehicles, ironically Shorikai probably has the most raw power of them, and it can already be your commander. It unlocks some fun additional commander options. Through a combination of discussions, we reached the idea that if a legendary permanent has a power and toughness box on its front face, it is eligible to be a commander. This could also open up theoretical design space for the future and future-proof us for when we inevitably create another new card type along the lines of vehicle or spacecraft. So we were all in alignment. The cards and game text got locked in, and the plan was to roll it out in the September announcement last year. This would even get it out in time for Aetherdrift and its handful of legendary vehicles. However, in the final discussion process around the details, namely how Grist was going to work, which was a bit nitty-gritty, it was pulled, and we all agreed to just put it into the next update rather than rush things. Then, the September banned and restricted announcement for Commander went out, and I'm sure we all remember what happened next. I hope by now we all know that the threatening behavior and hate that followed by some Magic players was completely unacceptable. Then, a lot happened in a short amount of time. The Commander Rules Committee handed ownership of the format to us here at Wizards, and then in turn, we created the Commander Format panel to ensure the format still had a body of community members to work with on any changes to it. Suddenly, there was a lot to figure out. Commander needed stability, and this was certainly not the time for a format rules change. So, we held the rules change for later. I brought it up to the format panel fairly early in its existence just to take a temperature check, as I also felt it was important it passed this group's muster as well. The majority agreed, and we were on board with the change, so we left it as is. Magic design, creative, the former rules committee, and the majority of the new format panel were all aligned. At this point, it made sense to line it up with Edge of Eternities. That's when Spacecraft would be coming out, including the face commanders of the 2 commander decks, which needed this rules change to function at all. It would make the reason for the rules change completely clear, and Commander would have some time for us to sort through things like brackets and unbans before making any rules changes. And now, time for that rules change is finally here. So, In short, all of this is to say that starting with Edge of Eternities, legendary spacecraft and vehicles with a power and toughness box will be eligible to be your commanders. The biggest thing I want to communicate through all of this is that I and we don't want you to think that this is something done in haste, or that now as either the format panel or Wizards, we're trying to quickly change the basic fundamental rules of Commander without proper design work and discussion. A lot of time has gone into this. I also think it's worth saying we at Wizards found this pretty fun. We've been testing both legendary vehicles and spacecrafts as commanders for a while now, and it gives you a whole new lens to look through. There's fun in having the indomitable lead your pirates, or firing up a big battlecruiser Parhelion 2 commander deck. I'm excited to see what you all build. I hope this has given you a little bit of insight into this rules change. What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. We'll certainly be reading them. On behalf of the Commander Format panel, this has been Gavin Verhey. I'll talk with you again soon and see you around all weekend at MagicCon. Until next time, have fun brewing up vehicle commander decks. You got this.
Catching is a strong blue card if we do want to end up on that blue-white path. You can even ramp you in a pinch if you need to. It's really hard to pass this removal spell though. Like, seeing this is still here in the pack is like, it's a pretty high pick, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take the solid removal spell. I don't mind staying open early, just taking a mix of good cards. And then you can kind of stay flexible. I know it's like, what are you doing, Gavin? You've